Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Quartet Lesson 9 Part 2 live stream. Tonight we're only covering 3 sections, and those sections are ということは、はずがない, and わけがない. We're going to split these lessons up into at least 3 parts from now on, maybe 4, we're not sure yet, but for starters, just 3, because having 6 or 5 sections as we're getting into more complicated stuff has led to us having live streams going for over 3 hours, which, nothing wrong with that, but teaching for 3 hours live on stream, especially this late at night for us, it's exhausting, and by the end, I feel like I'm not giving good enough information, and I just don't feel like I'm doing a good enough job to warrant doing so many sections in a single lesson. So we're cutting these down to about 3 to 2 sections per lesson and seeing where we go from there. If we only do 3 parts per lesson, we'll be doing a practice stream for the 4th stream, and we'll do practice questions from all of the sections we covered. Or we may split it up into 4 separate streams, but we're not sure. We're going to talk about that as time goes on. But anyway, these are the colors that we use for each of our sentences. The light blue is for the new grammar points, and these other colors are for words that haven't shown up in Genki or in Quartet yet, but that are on the JLPT or that we think are important for you to learn because they're fairly common. If you have any questions tonight during the live stream that are not related to the current point or just general questions, please make sure you put question before your questions so that we know that you want us to answer it live on stream and not just someone in the chat. During the practice questions, it's really helpful if you put Q time in caps before your answer to the question so that we know to read that out and correct it on stream as well. It goes much smoother that way. So if you do that, that would be awesome. The first section we're going to be covering tonight is that means with ということは、ということだ, even though that's not on the slide. But before we get started, this is a live stream, so let's get Yuki over here and say hello to everyone. The first person here tonight was Felipe. Hola, hola.
Hi, 皆さん。
Hello.
ちょっと背が高め。
そうだね。Violin guy, おはよう。
こんばんは。みんなこんにちは。よろしくお願いします。
お願いします。Come to Japan Dance has tons of bonus content, beginner to intermediate Japanese premium. Yes, so much going on the website in the next few days, says Come to Japan Dan. Yes, there's going to be a lot of material, which is another reason we've been quite tired recently. Very, very busy getting that all together for you guys. This stream, of course, is sponsored by all of the members of ToKiniAndy.com and the Patreon. Thank you so much.
ありがとうございます。
Because of all you that were able to keep doing this every single week.
はい。
For real. Without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. So thank you. Will Wilson. Ohayo. Welcome to the stream. Come to Japan Dan says, お疲れ様です. Michael says, good evening this. Good evening this. Dashiel, こんばんは. Lumpy, what's up? Streaming is working. Yay. I clicked go live this time. We're not going to be talking to a blank screen for 30 minutes. That's helpful. Tom-chan, こんばんは. Good to see ya. I can confirm, says Felipe. Thank you so much. 今日もありがとうございます。I know you're not talking about me.
私、今日も綺麗ですね。嘘、私、ありがとうございます。
He's talking about me. What are you talking about?
今日も綺麗ですね、こういうところが。
はい。
はい、みんなようこそです。よろしくお願いします。
お願いします。So yes, we are going to jump right into it tonight. Like I said, there's only 3 sections tonight and then 2 sections in the next live stream. Then we'll be doing a practice stream after that for these last 2 live streams. So we're not going to be putting practice streams in between. We are talking about maybe splitting them up even more, but we're not positive yet. So for now, we're going to move forward expecting there to be 3 live streams per lesson and a practice stream at the end. Granted, there's only lesson 10, 11, and 12 left. So, whatever. ありがとうございます、Michael. Alright. You ready?
はい。じゃあ私は撤退するね。
そうだね。Yuki will be back very shortly for the question time. So, let's get this back on screen this way. And get started with that means with ということは. So, ということは means that, well, that means, but it's actually usually combined or almost always combined with ということだ at the end. So there's a sentence or a predicate marked by ということは followed by a sentence or predicate marked with ということだ. So you can actually think of this whole thing as the fact that X means Y. And the ということは you could think of as the fact that. And then the ということだ you can think of as means, if you'd like to, if that makes it easier for you. That's how I've translated most of the example sentences in this. But yeah, you can think about it. This is the という as in the say, ということは. So the thing which is this sentence means this. The thing which is this sentence means this thing, this second sentence. You can also have nouns, but those are going to be marked with というものは. So this thing, not a sentence, a noun, this thing, sentence ものだ, and this is some kind of judgment about that thing. So an event というものは this thing, this type of event ものだ. But you'll see some examples like that, which will make it a little bit more clear, I hope. So the first sentence tonight is チャイムが鳴ったということは12時になったということだ. So we translated this as the fact that the bell rang means that it's become 12 o'clock. So the fact that chime is like a bell or a chime. We have the word chime in English as well. が鳴った. So it made a sound. It made a sound. So the fact that the bell rang, that's what we'd say in English. ということは, so the fact that the bell rang, 12時に, so in the direction of 12, なった, it became 12 o'clock, ということだ, it means that. It means that it became 12. What means that it became 12? The chime made a sound or it rang. So the fact that the bell rang means that it became or has become 12 o'clock. 彼女が嬉しそうだということは何か良いことがあったということだ. So you'll notice there's always a ということだ at the end of one of these sentences. We have ということは and ということだ. You think of them as a pair. In the grammar section in Quartet, it doesn't actually, I don't think it lists these as a pair, and it's certainly not in the heading of the grammar point, but really these go together. They're a pair. So we translate this sentence as the fact that she looks happy means that something good happened. The fact that she looks happy means something good happened. 彼女が, so we're emphasizing her. 彼女が嬉しそうだ. She looks happy. ということは, so the fact that she looks happy. 何か, so something. 良いこと, a good thing. があった, she had. ということだ, it means. So the fact that she looks happy means that something good must have happened. Let's go over the question time preview quick. This is not the time to answer this question right now. It's just the time to start thinking of what you're going to answer when we get to the question time at the end of this section. So let's break it down really quickly. We have 健康に過ごすということは何々をするということですという形であなたの健康の考えを教えてください。So, to live healthily, so 健康に過ごすということはSo the thing which is to live healthy, it means something するということです。So means to do this thing. So an example would be 健康に過ごすということはリラックスするということです。So to live healthily means, or the thing which is to live healthily means relaxing. All right, so let's jump into our next example. We have ゲームをしているということはもう宿題が終わったということだよね. So the fact that you're playing a game means that you finished your homework, right? Okay, breaking this one down, it's ゲームを. So game is the direct object of している, so doing. You're doing a game ということは the fact that you're doing a game or playing a game. もう already. 宿題, so homework が that's the subject. 終わった finished. ということだ, it means that よね, and that よね is right. It's the antagonistic right. That's what that means, right? The fact that you're playing a game means that you finish your homework, right? That's the sentence. 筋肉痛が辛いということは筋肉が破れているということだ. So the fact that my muscle pain is painful means that my muscles are torn. And I've marked this with a star here because we would never say the fact that my muscle pain is painful because the painfulness is tied up in the word muscle pain. But tsurai is kind of hard to translate here. Tsurai just means that something is unpleasant or not, it sucks that it's happening this way. But anyway, 筋肉痛 itself means muscle pain. So 筋肉痛が辛い, so the fact that it is bad. So the fact that my muscle pain is bad might be a way you could think about this. ということは, so that fact. 筋肉が, so my muscles, that's the subject of. 破れている, so they're ripped up. ということだ. And of course, it doesn't mean that they're injured. When you do muscle exercises, you actually are doing little tears in your muscle, and those healing is what makes your muscles bigger. So that's all this is talking about. In other words, it's not necessarily a bad thing to have muscle pain after working out. The next sentence is, A さんから返事がないということは、仕事が忙しいということだろう。So the fact that there is no response from A means that he's probably busy with work. Breaking this one down, we have A さん, so A, から, so from A, 返事がない, so there's no response. 返事がないということは, the fact that there's no response from A さん。仕事が, so work が、忙しい, they're busy ということだろう. So it means that they're probably, the だろう, busy with work. 仕事が忙しい。先生がうなずいているということは、僕のスピーチの成績は良さそうだということだ。So the fact that the teacher is nodding means that my speech grade looks like it will be good. So 先生, so that they're the subject がうなずいている。うなずく is to nod. うなずいているということは、so the fact that the teacher is nodding. 僕のスピーチ, so my speech の成績, my speech grade は, so that's emphasizing what comes next, also marking that whole thing as the topic. 良さそうだ, so looks like is good ということだ. So it means that it looks like my speech grade is good. 山の中から塩が見つかったということは、昔その場所は海だったということだ。The fact that salt in the mountain was found means that a long time ago, that spot was ocean. So breaking this one down, 山の中から, so from within the mountain, 塩が, so salt, that's the subject of 見つかった, so was found ということは, so the fact that salt was found in the mountain, 昔, so a long time ago, その場所, that place, は, that's the topic, 海だった, it was ocean ということだ, it means that. So it means that the fact that there was salt found in the in this mountain means that long ago, this place was ocean. That's what it means. All right, we've got one or two more examples. 部屋が静かだということは、子供たちが寝たということでしょう。So the fact that the room is quiet means that the children probably slept. Notice this is in the past tense, it is in the past tense, this one. So 部屋が, so 部屋 is the subject, 静かだ, it's quiet ということは, so the fact that it's quiet in the room means that 子供たち, so the children が, they're marked as the subject, 寝た, they slept ということでしょう. It probably means that the children slept. All right. We've got some ものwas here. So 読書というものは, so it's a noun. 自分の世界を広げてくれるものだ. So reading expands your world is the creative way I've translated this, but the literal meaning is the thing which is reading is a thing which expands the world for you or your world for you. So 読書 is reading というものは, so the thing which is reading. 自分の世界 your own world を that's the direct object of 広げてくれる it spreads open for you the world or your world ものだ it is the thing which expands your world for you. But we would never say it in English, so I just said reading expands your world. We have one more もの sentence. タンパク質というものは体に必要なものだ. So protein is a necessity for your body, or literally, the thing which is protein is a thing which is necessary for your body. タンパク質 is an N, one word, surprisingly, which means protein というものは, so the thing which is protein, 体に必要なものだ. It's a thing which your body needs. That brings us to not the dialogue, but the story for this week. We've got 3 sections. It's going to be continuing into next week, which means we got to get Yuki over here. But before we do that, I want to say thank you very much to Tom for his 5 months of membership. He says, hi everyone, ToKini Senpuki, Tom-chan, thank you so much. And for the, what's that say? How's it going? How's it going, Tom-chan? Thank you so much for the donation in chat. Appreciate that so much. Thank you. So let's get Yuki over here. Of course, she has to read all the donations quickly, so
はい、ト
お願いし
ムちゃん、あ
ます。
りがとうございます。
Thank you so much.
Thank you. How's it going? グレートです。
グレートです。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Thank you so much. All right, but we'll get to everyone else's comments in a minute.
はい。
We're going to have Yuki read the entire story today. よろしくお願いします。Even though it's from a guy's perspective. What are you going to do? はい。
俺はついていない。今日は仕事に早く着くはずだったのに、もうこの踏切が降りているということは、 乗るつもりだった電車に間に合わなかったということだ。なんてついていないんだ、俺は。あの時からだ。まるで神様に嫌われているような毎日になったのは。
はい。Okay, so let's go ahead and break this down. We got the first part.
ノ
俺、
ノーマルスピードはなしと。
それはだいたい normal speed だったんじゃないですか。
嘘結構ゆっくり読んだのですが、あれ
じゃあここから読んでください。
はい。ノーマルで、
うん
はい。俺はついていない。今日は仕事に早く着くはずだったのに、もうこの踏切が降りているということは、乗るつもりだった電車に間に合わなかったということだ。
Alright, breaking this one down, we have 俺はついていない。ついている means that I'm lucky or things are going good for me. So 俺はついていない means that I'm, and it's emphasizing unlucky or not lucky. So 今日は, so today that's the topic of 仕事に, so in the direction of work, 早く着く, so arrive early, はずだった. So I expected that I would arrive early. のに, so despite the fact that I thought I would arrive early at work today, or that I would arrive early at work today, yeah, I thought, もう already この踏切 is a railroad crossing が降りている. So sounds a little weird to say the railroad crossing is down, but I think if you sort of logic it out, you can figure out that means the gate of the railroad crossing is down. So the fact that it's down ということは, so the fact that the railroad crossing is down means that 乗るつもりだった. So intended to get on. 乗るつもりだった電車. So the train I intended to get on に in that direction 間に合わなかった. 間に合う means to arrive on time, to be on time. 間に合わなかった means didn't arrive on time. ということだ. So the fact that the railroad crossing is down means that the train I intended to get on, I did not arrive on time to. The literal translation, not the literal translation, the more straight translation I gave was, I'm unlucky. Today, even though I expected to arrive at work early, the fact that the bar is down in front of the train tracks means that I didn't make it in time for the train I intended to get on. はい、ここからお願いします。
はい。なんてついていないんだ、俺は。あの時からだ。まるで神様に嫌われているような毎日になったのは。
Alright, so damn unlucky me. It's from that time that every day became as if I were hated by God. So breaking it down, we have nante. That nante is, it's kind of like what we covered, I believe, last week, which is sort of marking what comes before it as negative, right? But there's nothing that comes before it, right? But that's not the case. The actual sentence, if you were to write it out grammatically correctly, would be 俺なんてついていないんだ. 俺なんてついていないんだ. So it would mark that as a super negative. 違いますか? 俺なんてついていないんだ.
それは違うんですよ。このなんては、なんて綺麗なんでしょうのなんてだから、その文章の初めにつくやつね。だから、how 何々とか what は何々。で、俺はなんてついていない。まあ、
なんてはその和を消す。和は本当に前に聞いていれば、
消さない。
和がなくなるんだよ。なんては和とがとをなくす。でとにとえをなくさないから。にとでとえを残さなきゃいけないので、をとがとはなくなるんじゃないですか。なんてはその後に来るので。そのなんてはね。そのなんてはね。だからこの俺は前に来ていれば、俺はついていないんだ。その中にはなんて入れてもいいんじゃない？
俺はなんてついていないんだ。
そう。
だからこのグラマーポイントは、
俺は書いた時にはそうつもりじゃなかったけど、先週のやつ使うつもりだったけど。
そう、このなんては、how so damn unlucky I am ですよね、これ。
何が違うの？だから何が違うそれ？
前回のなんて言ったこと？なんかこの部分のなんてっていうのは感動、その自分の気持ちが、とかこの自分の視点で見て、なんてっていうそのインプレッションの表現の仕方、エクスプレッションの方法だから、俺なんてっていうのと なんて俺はついてないっていうのは別なんだよ。俺なんてって言っちゃうと、俺はなんかが
自分のこと、
下げてるから、
そうはずだった。
俺なんてなんていうの？俺なんて例えば全然うまくいかないな。
じゃあ、it's not that one. I was wrong. Okay, so it's なんて俺はついていないんだ. So it's just adding some emotion to this whole thing and being like, yeah, like Michael saying in chat, oh, how lucky I am. なんてついていないんだ. So again, it's sort of restating the beginning of the whole paragraph. And the ore wa is coming at the end. But of course, if you were to make it grammatically correct, you'd put it at the beginning, but not really, I guess, because there's なんて. So なんて俺はついていないんだ. And that's adding more emotion to it and being, yeah, sort of showing that I'm upset about it a little bit. So then, あの時, so that time, から, so from that time, だ, so it's from that time. And then we have まるで, so まるで usually marks that there's going to be a よ coming later. So まるで神様に, so in the direction of a god, 嫌われている, so I'm hated by a god, ような, so like I'm hated by a god, that まるで and ような go together, ような毎日. So an everyday, like an everyday hated by a god. Seems kind of weird, right? But of course, they're talking about themselves. I'm hated by a god. Every day is like I'm hated by a god. So the ore is sort of missing from that sentence, but it's there. になったのは. So the あの時からだ. Then the noa at the end is saying it's applied to that da, right? That this whole thing is being marked sort of by that da. あの時からだ. What is from that time? まるで神様に嫌われているような毎日になったのは. And it's from あの時だ, right? Okay, so it's from that time. From that time, every day became as if I were hated by a god. So the question time for this section is, お願いします。
健康に過ごすということは〇〇するということですという形であなたの健康の考えを教えてください。
Okay, so please tell us what is, well, actually, yeah. Please tell us what the thing which is health to you, living healthily, what that means to you. So, for example,
健康に過ごすということはリラックスするということです。
So the thing which is living healthily is to relax. Means to relax to this person.
健康に過ごすということは水を飲むということです。
So 健康に過ごすということは水を飲むということです。So the thing which is living healthily is to drink water. これは違う文法ポイントなのかな？まあいい。
というが抜けちゃった。でも、V のその、ディクショナリーフォームプラスということだから、
そう。
いいと思います。
はい、わかりました。
そう、その健康のチップね。
多分こういう例文はなかったかな。レッスンの中だけど、こういう使い方もあります。大丈夫。Alright, so let's see what's happening in chat. We have
はい。
ラインランドファール
ラインランドファールツの人生は多分ドイツの住んでる話してると思う。
Okay. 違う話かね。
と、はい、バイオリン街が。
Rhineland Palatinate. I don't know the Japanese word for that either.
どこ
大丈夫です。ここは随分つまらない。they're talking about a place. Okay, so Q time, Dashiel's already got a Q time out here, so お願いします。
健康に過ごすということは、スキンケアとヘアケアするということです。そうですね。ありがとうございます。いいですね。
So living healthily is to take care of your skin and your hair, says Dashiel.
はい。もちろんそのためには毎日の食事や行動にも気を配る必要があります。素晴らしいですね。
Of course, you have to take care of everything else as well as you to make that happen.
はい。
Absolutely. Which textbook is this lesson from? Asks Kiwi. Somebody already answered. Okay, good. Quartet 2, yes. How unlucky I am, ToKini. Yeah, something like that, Michael. Yeah, absolutely. Today I will not be very active, but I'll be listening. I'm coding an experiment related to Japanese. Ooh, that sounds like fun. Nice, keep it up. And yes, once again, thank you. Come to Japan said, you are awesome, Tom. And yes, I agree. You are awesome, Tom. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
ごめんねなんて。
いや、やっぱり私たち文章とか先に話したりしてたんだけど、まあ俺はそのなんての文章書いたくせにね、勝手に同じやつだと思ったけど、正しく使ったくせにね。
まあそう、だから
説明的には違う。
そう、英語はなんか普通だよね。
I know that なんて、like I use it that way. I just assumed it was the same なんて as the other one, just used in a slightly different way all the time is what I've always assumed, even though I use it that way. Like I wrote that sentence, so it's not like the Japanese is wrong or anything. It's just that I assumed that it was acting on a different part, I guess. Violin guy has a cue time.
はい、ありがとうございます。健康に過ごすということは、毎日猫ちゃんと共に散歩できるということです。
Nice.
いいね。
So living healthfully to me is being able to go for a walk with a cat every day. Nice.
メンタル的にも良さそうですね。
よいよね。But how do you get your cat to walk with you? My cat used to follow us when we'd go on walks when I was a kid. He would follow us, but like if we acknowledged that he was following us, he would run off into the woods and then like show up again following us later. But like we couldn't ever go for a walk with the cats. The first time I ever saw people walking with a cat on like a leash was when I arrived in Japan like 9 years ago. I saw like a guy walking down the street with a cat on a leash. It was somewhat shocking. The most surprising thing I think I saw in my first year in Japan was like my second day here, seeing a dude walking a cat on a leash. That does not happen back in the States. At least not when I was a kid or where I lived. でもいるよね。長野にあんまり見ないけど。
でもね、ここの辺にも多分いるよ。
そうなんだ。あんまり見てないけど。Michael says.
はい。健康に過ごすということは、自分じゃ制御できないことを無理にストレスにしないということですかな。自分じゃ制御できないことを無理にストレス
たまらないということ？
多分自分でコントロールできないこと
自分が、制御できないことを気にしないことだかな。
ここの部分はストレスじゃない方がいい。なんか
だから俺言ってるのは制御できないことを気にしないことだとか。
そうだね。そうだね。その無理にからカットして、気にしないということです。
そう無理をなくして。
無理からカットして
気にしないこととか。
ということですとか。
Is there a better way maybe?
だけど無理に多分ストレスっていう言葉がちょっと違うからなんか無理に多分やろうとしないということですだと思うんだよね本当は。
いやそれはなんかよくあるのはなんか何もできないのにめっちゃ心配したり残念こういうことがあった何もできなかったけどこれがあったことが辛いっていうことでストレスたまる人がたくさんいるんじゃないですか。でそういうことをしないことだって彼が言った。これが私何もできないっていうことを明らかに自分にね明らかにadmit はなんだっけ
領受する、
で
受け入れる
ストレスはたまらないようにするから気にしないでいいかなのかな。
でもせっかくこのさ言葉を使って無理にストレスしないっていう部分をさ、ね自分で考えてきてくれたわけじゃないですか。それをなんとかそのベースの部分をなんかうまく使えないのかな
まあそれはマイコがそれがいいならそれでいいんだけどもっと自然な言い方があればそれの方がまあ俺が思ってる感じだともっと自然に言えるように教えた方がいいって気がするけど。
まあ確かにね気にしないって言っちゃうともうそれまあそうですよね。
いや僕は気にしないを使わなくてもユキがもっと自然な言い方が考えられたら構わないです。
ちょっと考えるか。ちょっと
次のやつに行きましょう。それに戻ってこよう。
ルンピ健康に過ごすということはスポーツするということです。
いいね。So living healthily to me is doing sports.
はい
Nice. はい。僕の猫は犬みたいです。
そうなん
Nice.
だ
Without a leash. Wow, that's cool. ノヤビー has a cute time.
はい、ありがとうございます。おやびね。はい。健康に過ごすということは、毎日太陽の光を浴びるということですね。
Nice.
素
Living
晴らしい
healthily
です
for me
ね。
is showering in the sunshine every day. はい。
バイタミン D をプロデューシングですね。
そう。大事。
はい。
Cumulonimbus.
健康に過ごすということは、宿題をしなくていいということです。それはストレスから逃げてるってことかな。そういうことかな。
宿題をなくすっていうこととか、宿題がない人生ということだ。いや、もちろんだけど、基本的に宿題をしなくていいということでいいのかな。
まあね、名前読めないキュミロニンバスさんにとってヘルシーだわって思うのが宿題をしないことであれば、それは宿題をしないことがヘルシーじゃないかなと。
入道雲っていうキュミロニンですね。はい。じゃあ文法的には大丈夫。
そう、文法的にはね全然 OK。
はい。
ただちょっとモラル的な
それは問題ないです。はい。一山さん says。
はい。結婚をするということは覚悟を決めろということです。
そうだよね。はい。
人生の
Getting married means
一大決心が。
Make up your mind. はい。
はい。
また面倒な文章を作りだいや大丈夫ですよ。
ちょっと待ってね、
大丈夫。
考えるわ。
はい。
はい。マイコのやつ。
はい。ユキが言おうとしたら。
健康に過ごすということは自分じゃ制御できないことを無理に考えないとかかな。気にしないと一緒だよね。だってさ、無理にまでさ合ってるのにさ、
無視するのはどう？制御できないことを無視するということだとかってどうしてもその無理に使いたいの？多分マイクルさん的には、マイクルは無理にこだわっていますかね？
いや、こだわってないだろ
う。ゆきさんは日本語の
方言を話せますか？日本語の方言はとても面白いと思います。私の方言はね、面白いらとか、
ゆきの
なんか
実家のエリアのやつ。
なんか something らとか、にっていうの。
そのらは標準語だと
だよ。
So instead of だよ they use ら。
なんかなんていうの？今日元気っていうのは、今日元気って聞くのは何もつかないんだけど、元気だよっていう時には元気だにっていうの。
そう、それあるね。元気だに。はい。Also tail becomes 取るだね。
そう。
tail becomes 取る。
そう、お母さん。
食べとる。
そう。みんなね、ご飯食べとるもんでとか言うね。
食べとるもんで。means everyone is eating. 食べているものです。食べている。から。もんで is から。
食べてるから。
食べてるもんで。
そう、みんな向こうで食べとるもん。そう。みんな向こうで食べとるもんで、なんかこっちに来んとか。
気にしない、考えないとはいいですか？いいんじゃない？
そう。
はい。
そうだね。気にしない。
はい。Alright, those are good guys.
いいかな。健康的に過ごすということは自分じゃ制御できないことを気にしないということです。そうだね。それでいこ
う。はい。Okay. じゃあ、let's go ahead and move on to the next section, which is X is hardly possible with はずがない。はずがない。So, Hazuganai means there's no way that something is possible. And generally, the person making this statement is basing it either on some kind of logic or common sense. Logic or common sense, you're going to be using hazuganai. It's not very emotional. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's this way, and there's a reason for it. Logical reason or common sense reason. To use hazuganai, we have the short form of a verb or an adjective on its own, followed by hazuganai. Adjectives require the na particle or de aru before hazuganai. Nouns, no particle or de aru before hazuganai. And the hazuganai will be, there's no way that something is possible. So let's jump into the example sentences. We have, A-kun wa ashi wo kossetsu shite iru kara hashireru hazu ga nai. So A, the person who is A, broke his leg. So there's no way he can run. A-kun wa, so A, he's the topic of the sentence and emphasizing what comes next. Ashi wo, so the direct object is his leg. Kosetsu shite iru, so he has a broken leg. Kosetsu means to break a leg or to break a bone of any sort. So kosetsu shite iru kara, so his leg is broken. So hashireru, can run. Hazu ga nai, there is no way that it's possible that he can run. Next sentence is, 父は甘いものが嫌いだから、私のケーキを食べるはずがない。犯人は他にいるはずだ。So father hates sweet things, so I don't expect it's possible that he ate my cake. The criminal is someone else, I expect. So breaking this one down, 父は, so the topic of this is father. 父は甘いもの, so things which are sweet, が嫌いだから, so he hates things which are sweet. So, 私のケーキ, so my cake, を, that's the direct object of 食べる. So eat my cake, はずがない. There's no way he ate my cake, or I don't think it's possible that he ate my cake. And the logical reason for that is because I know that he hates sweet things. 犯人は, so criminal is, that's the topic, 他にいるはずだ. So there's someone else. 他にいるはずだ. So I expect there's someone else. And the logic for the はずだ is the fact that, well, my father hates sweet things. So there's no way he would eat my cake. All right. Question time preview. Once again, this is not to answer question time now. It's just to give you an idea of what's coming at the end of this section so you can prepare in your mind for what you'd like to use for it. It's あなたの周り、家、町などに〇〇がある、いる、ないはずがない。理由は何々だからという形であるはずがないものを教えてください。So basically we want you to make a sentence that is around you, in the area around you, whether it's your house or your town or your school or whatever. This thing, there's no way that this thing could exist or this thing could happen. And you can give a reason, but you don't have to. That's why the 理由は何々だから is in parentheses. So the one example we'll give you for the preview is 日本に, so in Japan, 狼, so wolves, がいる, so they're existing, はずがない, so there's no way that wolves exist in Japan. 絶滅したから, they're extinct. They went extinct, and that's the reason. That's the logical reason. 絶滅したから. So there's no way that wolves exist in Japan. So that's the kind of sentence you are going to be making when we get to question time. So our next example sentence is スパイシーチャイを注文したから甘いはずがない. So I ordered spicy chai, so there's no way. It's sweet. Maybe you like ordered a tea and you got spicy chai and you drank it and it's super sweet. And you're like, wait a second. I ordered spicy chai, so there's no way it should be sweet like this or something like that, right? So spicy chai. So it's the thing which is spicy chai. Whoa, that's the direct object of 注文したから. 注文 is to order something. したから. 甘い, sweet. はずがない. There's no way it's sweet. And it's an E adjective immediately followed by はずがない. 野良猫は毎日人間からご飯をもらえないから生活が楽なはずがない. So as for stray cats, 野良猫, they can't get food from humans every day, so it's hardly possible that their life is easy. So 野良猫, I'm not sure if you could guess the reading of this if you just looked at it and you didn't know that it was read as 野良猫. The no, this is obviously read as no, but this is a special reading of 良いだよね. 違う? だ? Is this a special reading of だ? The da.
そうそうそうそう。
It's a special reading, right? Yeah, okay.
野良
So
ね。
it's a, I would never think to read this as the da, but just know that this word on its own is noraneko. So that's why you can't always rely on just the kunyomi and onyomi that you know, because sometimes there's special readings. Wa, so that's the topic. Mainichi, every day. Ningen, humans. Kara, from humans. Gohan, so food. Wo, direct object. Moraenai, so they're unable to receive food from humans every day. So, kara. Seikatsu, so daily life. Ga, that's the subject. Raku, raku is easy or comfortable. Na, hazu ga nai, so raku is an adjective. So raku na hazu ga nai means there's no way that it's easy. この足跡は大きすぎるから犬のはずがない。So these tracks are too big, so there's no way they're dog tracks. So, 足跡 is an N2 word that means footprints, footprints. So, この足跡, so these footprints. は that's the topic. 大きすぎる, they're too big. So, から、犬のはずがない. So, 犬 is a noun, so that means it needs the no particle or である between it. So, 犬であるはずがない or 犬のはずがない. Either way is fine. But here we have, once again, hazuganai, it's supported by some kind of logical or common sense situation. And here, these footprints are too big. That's the logical reasoning behind the hazuganai. Inu no hazuganai. There's no way these are dog tracks. Logic being, they're too big. 彼はこのバンドのファンだから、コンサートに行かないはずがない. So he's a fan of this band, so there's no way that he won't go to the concert. 彼は, so he's the topic. このバンド, this band, のファン. So he's a fan of this band. So, だから。コンサート, so to the concert. に行かない, so he won't go to the concert. はずがない. So here we have a double negative, right? Double negatives are very common with はずがない, and it makes it, the translation, if you were to do it more like a pretty translation, it would make it, he's definitely gonna go to the concert. So, in English, we don't generally do double negatives in sentences, although it does happen, of course. But as a general rule, you're not really supposed to, I guess. So, コンサートに行かないはずがない, the literal translation would be, there is no way that he won't go to the concert. Which you could absolutely say in English, and people do all the time. But I believe there is some grammatical rule somewhere that many people spout out all the time that you're not supposed to do it in English. But in Japanese, it's very common, definitely okay. 行かないはずがない means that he will definitely go. But I translated it literally here so that you can see how the grammar is working a little bit better. All right, that brings us to our continuation of the story. Things went weird from that one day. All right, let's get Yuki over here. Onegai shimasu. We'll read it one time at slow speed, and we'll go ahead and read it full speed when we get to the next page again, like we did in the last section. I kind of liked that.
はい。
All right.
じゃあフルスピードね。
お願いします。
はい。
はい。
社会人になって2年目の時だった。飲み会の後、会社の1年下の後輩と一緒に徒歩で駅へ向かっていた。2人ともちょっとほろ酔いな感じで気持ちよくゆらゆらと横断歩道を歩いていた。突然後輩が「ねえ先輩、こんな神社見たことありますか?」と聞いてきた。指をさした方を見ると小さなすみれ色の神社が立っていた。この神社の名前は茜神社で立派な赤い鳥居が有名だから紫なはずがない。
はい。All right, we're going to go at full speed on the next page, so let's go ahead and break this one down together. お願いします。
はい。社会人になって2年目の時だった。飲み会の後、会社の1年下の後輩と一緒に徒歩で駅へ向かっていた。
So it was when I had become a working adult for 2 years. After a drinking party, I was heading towards the station by foot with a coworker, 1 year my junior. So there's some weird English going on here, but that's because I decided to be a little bit more literal than I usually am with words like senpai and kohai, which we don't use these when we're referring to people we work with or we go to school with, but I threw them in the English anyway. Breaking it down, we have shakaijin. Shakaijin is a very, 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 very common word. You hear it all the time, and it means working adult. If shakai itself is used for things like social studies, so you would think it would mean a social person if you were to translate the kanji out and the words put together literally, but it just means a working adult. So working adult ni natte, so became a working adult 2年目. So the second year after becoming a working adult. No toki, it was when it was the second year after I had become a working adult. Datta, it was. 飲み会の後, after a drinking party. 会社の1年下の後輩。So that whole no string is my junior, a person lower than me. 後輩, right? Junior by 1 year of my company. So, a person who's 1 year lower in rank than me in the company. と, so with them. 一緒に, so together with. 徒歩で, so by foot. 徒歩で駅へ, so in the direction of the company. 向かっていた. I was walking in the direction, or we were going in the direction of the station together. お願いします。
二人ともちょっとほろ酔いな感じで気持ちよくゆらゆらと横断歩道を歩いていた。突然後輩がねえ先輩、こんな神社見たことありますかと聞いてきた。
We were both feeling slightly tipsy and were pleasantly swaying as we walked down the sidewalk. Suddenly, my junior asked, Hey, senior, have you ever seen a shrine like this? Nobody would ever talk like, Hey, senior. You might hear junior, but not in this kind of situation, right? I'm talking about like a kid or something, or some people are just called junior. Anyway, 二人とも, so both of us, 二人ともちょっと a little bit ほろ酔いな感じで so feeling a little bit tipsy ほろ酔い is tipsy ほろ酔いな感じで and 気持ちよく so pleasantly ゆらゆら so swaying と so the sound words or the words like that that express a movement usually are marked by と when they're connected to other things by と like verbs and stuff. In this situation 横断歩道を歩いていたSo the ゆらゆらと歩いていた is how you could think about this.
そうこういう感じね。ゆらゆら。
ゆらゆら pleasantly. Yay! 横断歩道 is a sidewalk を歩いていた。So walking on the sidewalk. 突然 suddenly 後輩が so the junior said ねえ hey 先輩 senior so the person above me こんな神社 this kind of shrine 見たことありますか Have you seen or do you have the experience of seeing a shrine like this と聞いてきた So he asked me お願いします
指をさした方を見ると小さなすみれ色の神社が立っていた。この神社の名前は茜神社で立派な赤い鳥居が有名だから紫なはずがない。
When I looked in the direction he pointed, there was a small violet shrine. The name of this shrine is Akane Shrine, and its impressive red archway is famous. So there's no way the shrine, is purple. So breaking this one down, we have Yubi o sashita ho. So in the direction of he had pointed. Yubi o sasa means to point. So in the direction he had pointed, wo miruto. So when I looked in the direction he had pointed, chisana. So a small sumireiro. Sumireiro is violet. No jinja, a shrine. Ga tatteita. There was when you say a building existed in front of you somewhere, it's usually tatteita. It was standing there. So there was a small violet shrine standing there. この神社の名前 so this shrine's name は and that's the topic and emphasizing what comes next 茜神社 so Akane is the name 茜神社で and that's an and 立派な赤い 立派 is a fun word it means impressive or like fantastic or something like that. There's a couple different meanings you can use. I went with impressive. So 立派な赤い鳥 Tori is the big the red arches you see outside of shrines. So tori が有名だから so the shrines the gate is famous. So 紫なはずがない there's no way the shrine is purple. And the logic here is that clearly this person knows the shrine. It's famous because it has this big red arch. And because I know that it's not purple, because I know the shrine, well, I can use this logical はずがない. So 紫なはずがない. Question time is
あなたの周り、家、町などに〇〇がある、or いる、or ないはずがない理由は〇〇だからという形であるはずがないものを教えてください。
So around you in your town or your home or your city or your country, a thing that exists or does not exist, that definitely does not exist, right? Or definitely does exist. Either way is fine around you. And you can give a reason for it and we might need to make a sentence like that. For example,
私の家にキャンピングカーがあるはずがない。キャンプに行かないから。
So in my house, There's no way that there is a camping car. キャンピングカーがある. So there is a camping car. はずがない. So there's no way that there is a camping car. キャンプに行かないから. We don't go camping. Because we don't go camping. So logically, why would we have a camping car? We wanted a camping car. We were going to get one, but we didn't. はい。Next one is?
日本に狼がいるはずがない。絶滅したから。
So there's no way that there are wolves in Japan. They're extinct because they're extinct. So 日本に in Japan, 狼 is wolves がいる. So they exist. はずがない. There's no way they exist. Why is that? 絶滅したから because they went extinct. So talk about something around you. In your area, your hometown, your home, your city, your country, whatever. Something that definitely exists or definitely doesn't exist. And you can give a reason if you want, but you don't have to. If you want, you can do it in this form. り〇〇だから. And that's it. So 絶滅したから or キャンプに行かないから. That's fine. So you can give a reason, but you don't have to. So let's see. I think I missed a bunch of stuff in chat while we were going through that section.
しまった、私プレビュー出すの忘れちゃった。コメント返してたら。プレビュー出してなかった。
いいよ、大丈夫。こんにちは。こんにちは。Greg Gaines. How's it going? オーストラリアでから元気1レッスン11にいるので聞いているだけです。
ありがとうございます。
とても上手にセンテンスを作ったね。Greg, good job. There's quite a few people here who are still on Genki but just hanging out and taking in the new grammar points. These ones tonight aren't too bad, so I think even if you're late Genki 1, early Genki 2, you should be fine. Yeah. バイオリンが私の猫ちゃんも大好きです。福岡ではもう食べているだよという意味。何が？
なんか食べとっとよみたいなやつを言ってた。
Okay.
そうだ、もう食べとっとよ。
そう、ちょっと悲しいマイケルさん。はい。
そう、そう。狼が絶滅しちゃったから、鹿がいっぱいいるんですよ。
どこ？
日本。
日本。鹿ね、いっぱいいる。ちょっと狼がいる。その代わりにユキの妹がいます。Konnichiwa, I've been busy and still haven't caught up to all the lectures. LOL, I've got 3 lectures left from the N3 playlist, so should I first catch up on all the lectures? Or should I just start attending live lessons again and catch up over time? I have recommended to people who wanted to hang out at the live streams that they just catch up over time. There's, like I've just mentioned right now, there's quite a few people who are actually way back and slowly catching up over time, but still hanging out at the live streams. Perfectly fine. We try not to make things too overly complicated. We do build on older grammar points, but like you might have seen since you asked that question, we do break everything down. I break down every single sentence in even more detail than I used to in the Genki lessons, I think. So generally, I'll be able to cover any of the grammar points when I'm breaking those things down. And if you have any questions of things you absolutely don't understand, you please feel free to ask those questions at any time. 社会人 could be a functional member of society. Yes, that's another translation of it. But the frequency with which it is used, 社会人, right? If you were to compare it to English, like you don't hear people saying that person is a functional member of society or when I first became a functional member of society. Like we just don't use that expression that frequently in English, I feel like, at least in colloquial English. But 社会人 is used just everywhere, like everywhere. It's a super common word. Like let's check out what JLPT level it is. Whatever it is, it should be N5, but it's probably not.
なんか
It's just common. It's not even on the JLPT, which is like I don't even know how that's possible. Seems like it should be unforgivable. It's like so common.
まあね、社会人ね。まあ意味不明だけどね、なんでそうなってるか。
Because becoming a 社会人 is the most important thing to society? To most people. Not the most people, but like
学生じゃないからじゃない。
そう。
学生だったらさ。
The goal of life when you're a student is to become a 社会人. So your whole life is building up to becoming a functioning member of society, じゃない？
そうだね。
どこにでも not just in Japan, like in anywhere. Everyone wants to become an adult, but just becoming 20 or whatever, becoming 18 is not you're not yet really an adult until you're sort of on your own. Making work, making money, things like that. That's what's very important here. When you're on your own and making money. Not necessarily even on your own. Yeah, when you can start paying taxes, that's when you matter in Japan. So becoming shakaijin is extremely important to the government, to the news, to, official companies. In official Japanese life, shakaijin is a very important. It's not even, it's strange, really. I think in all cultures it's important. It's just, we don't have a special word like that in English, I feel like, that we use very frequently other than just adult. But shakaijin means a little bit more than just adult, because you can be an adult in Japan and not be shakaijin. If you're like a niito or something, それは社会人じゃないよね。それはニート。
そうなんだよね。そう。
If you're just like a hikikomori or something that doesn't work, you just you stay in your house, play video games 24 hours a day, and you don't make any money, or you just live off your parents, then you're not shakaijin. You may be an adult, but not shakaijin. So that's what's kind of weird with English. We would still call them an adult, but we would also call the working guy an adult. If we were to break it down a little bit more clearly, we might say that they are a functioning member of society, but we wouldn't talk about them that way normally.
なんかそのさ、日本のね、社会的に大人になったらやらなきゃいけないなんか3つの義務があるんですよ。
はい。
それが労働の義務って言って働かなきゃいけませんよっていうのと、納税の義務っていうタックス払わなきゃいけませんよっていう、あとは教育の義務っていう勉強しなきゃいけませんよ。
As an adult even, yeah.
そうそう。
You have to keep studying.
そう。だからその3つをまだその3つをやってる人が社会人なんじゃない？
People who are making money, paying taxes, and still learning. Those are 社会人. All right.
ハードル高
Yuki-san sensei. Just so you know, Lumpy, you may just be being silly with that, but sensei replaces san. Or you just have san. Either way is fine. But you may just be being silly, and that's perfectly fine. But
大丈夫です。
今週、はい。
今週言語のアップで一人は鹿児島弁を喋った。それから私は興味を持ってくれたそうです。
なるほどね。
方言にね。でも私のさ、その長野県の、ダラダニ地方というんですけど、なんか人気ない方言。
No, it's not that strange. And it's actually like toru and things like that you hear all around Japan and like the countryside. So it's not, there's nothing too odd about, I feel like, Nagano's dialect.
まあそうそうそう。あんまりね、ダイアレクト、プロナンセーション自体はないからね、そんなに。
It's very close to regular Japanese.
そう、ただ、ちょっとあんまりね、ちょっと、アンファッショナブルと言われている。でも、鹿児島弁とか博多弁は、なんか可愛いということで人気です。
そうだね。All right, we've got a bunch of question times piled up, so we should probably get to those. We've been spending a lot of time on shakaijin. And Dashiel, yes, I also tend to think of Ripa as excellent, but in this situation where I wrote Ripa, excellent didn't quite fit. Like an excellent arch sounds kind of silly, so impressive or something like that made more sense.
言い過ぎかもしれないけど gorgeous.
Gorgeous, yeah. Gorgeous is another. I thought about gorgeous, but that also felt a little dramatic for this dude who's, a little bit tipsy walking down the street. So I figured impressive worked. All right, let's go over violin, guys. Question time.
はい。僕はゼルダの大ファンだから家でまだしなかったゲームの存在がまだしなかったゲーム、まだしてないゲームが存在するはずがないですよだ。
So I'm guessing you're talking about a Zelda game that you haven't played. There doesn't exist. So まだしていないゲーム、がある
存在する
が存在するはずがない。So there's no way that a game exists in my house that I haven't already done. はい。So one prefix too much, Limpy. Yati's tries.
はい。小さな町に住んでいるからドミノーズがあるはずがないだね。
そう。
ある。
So いる is for living things. ある is for inanimate object or places like dominoes.
ドミノスさんってなんかイノシシみたいなやつ？
ドミノスピザじゃないの？
あ、そうだよね。やっぱりそう
ド
だよね。
ミノス。You're talking about Domino's Pizza, right? So my town is small, so there's no way that a Domino's exists. Otherwise, your sentence was fine. Just gotta change that iru to aru. All right, Noya V. Speaking of which, we just ate Domino's like 2 nights ago for the first time. Yesterday.
ね。
Was it yesterday?
Yeah,
No, 2 days ago. For the first time in like a long time.
そう、1年ぶりぐらいだよね。
Something like that. Maybe not that long, but quite a while.
かなり久しぶりだ。
Even though we have multiple Domino's in our town.
はい。
All right, Noya V.
僕の近所が静かであるはずがないかな。近所は
静かがある。違う。うるさいってことだね。
そうそう、だから僕の近所は静かであるはずがないじゃない？
Is there another word we could use for quiet? Instead of, I mean, that's also perfect. Could we also say 僕の近所に静寂？
そうそうそう。
静寂があるはずがないとかって言える？
そうそうそう、言える。
Okay. So 静か is an adjective, right? So you can't actually say 静かがあるはずがない。You don't have an adjective.
静かである。
Right. So you need である or な。静かなはずがない would also be fine, right? 静かなはずがない would also work, right?
静かなはずがない
would also work because it's an adjective. So the strange thing there is that you're trying to treat the adjective as a noun, which we can't do. So you could either say there's 4 things we just popped out that you could say. So if you want to use 静か、静かである or な either way. である
静かな
or なはずがない。Or if you want to use a noun, you could say 静寂があるはずがない。So you could keep your pattern there. があるはずがない。If you change the word you're using for quiet to quietness, 静寂があるはずがない。Yeah, so there's 3 ways you could change it to make it correct.
はい。
Or should it be 静かが？
そうだ。理由を。隣人はめっちゃうるさいから。
Okay, your neighbors are very, very noisy から。Okay, so that part was perfect. The reason was fine.
はい。
All right, 市山さん says.
はい。日本で社会人になるということは満員電車に乗るということです。
そうだよね。
そうだ。
それはね、大変だよね。私たちは社会人ではないってことですかね。
私たち社会人じゃないですか。
税金払ってるんだ。いや、これだと。
私たち働いてるし、勉強してるじゃないですか。
そうだね。絶対満員。
税金も納めてるじゃないですか。
でも絶対に満車な電車に乗りたい。満員電車に乗りたくない。
で、よかったね。長野県が田舎で。
いや、長野県さえ朝だとめっちゃいっぱいよ、電車。長電もすごくいっぱい。
長野市ね。
The train into Nagano City is very packed in the morning.
でもそれをさ、ね、だって1個しかないじゃん。
まあね。Yeah, because there's only one. はい、マイケル。は
い。フィリピンに住んでいますから当たり前と言われるかもしれませんが、ホッキョクグマを見かけるきっかけはありません。
見かけるきっかけはありません。
あれが入ってないよ。クエスチョンタイムのグラマーポイント入ってないよ。草って書いてある。
There's no はずがない in your sentence, Michael, but your sentence is good. It's good. It's a good sentence.
ただのパーフェクトセンテンス
It's a
の
perfect
ようだった。
sentence. You just forgot to have はずがない。So you could, to add はずがない、you could say 北極熊を見かけるきっかけあるはずがない。
そう、きっかけがあるはずが
ない。And you'd be good. ダシエル。
私の住む町は学校からとても近いので、公共交通機関を利用して学校に通うのは無理
なはずがない。
そうだ、無理なはずがないです。
Gotta have that adjective because 無理 is an adjective.
そうだね。
I actually
そっか、無理だからここがあれだ。ネガティブネガティブ。
そう。無理なはずがない。So 無理 is a negative, so right, it's a double negative then. So it's definitely possible. So without using public transportation, I can definitely make it. 学校に通うのは無理なはずがない。です。
はい。
It makes sense.
パー
Just
フ
need
ェ
that
クト
na.
です。
The more I look at my Q time, the more I question it. Oh, yeah, it's just that na adjective. Otherwise, it's fine. Otherwise, you're fine. I originally wrote dearu, but I scrapped it.
あー、
So
惜
close.
しい。
なんだ文法また忘れてしまいました。You still got the idea across. It still made sense. 僕ってしいや、大丈夫ですよ。はい。Okay, those are good.
はい。ただのパーフェクトセンテンスどうもありがとうございました。
ね。ありがとうございます。
直すところは特にありませんでした。
ありませんでした。はい。So,
はい
let me get a quick drink of... あ、ちょっとお茶入れてくれる、すいません。ありがとうございます。Let me get a quick drink of お茶、そば茶。だったんそば。だったんそば is the best. And we will go ahead and jump into section 3, which is the last section for tonight. All right. Ready? All right. This looks very, very similar to our last section. If you're thinking that, well, that's because it is very, very similar. There's just some small little differences. This is, once again, there's no way that, but it's wake ga nai. Wake ga nai instead of hazu ga nai. The construction of this is very, very similar to the last one as well. We take the short form of a verb or an e adjective on its own and add wake ga nai. For adjectives, we have na particle, wake ga nai. For nouns, it's no or na, wake ga nai. The difference between hazu ga nai and wake ga nai is that wake ga nai is a little bit more emotional. Hazu ga nai is logical or based on common sense. Like, there's no way this is possible, or this is definitely the case because of this logical or common sense reason. Wake ga nai is not necessarily involving logic. It's involving maybe how I feel about something, right? So it can't possibly be the fact because I feel that it's not possible. So there's less logic involved with wake ga nai. It doesn't mean it's absolutely impossible that there will be logic involved with wake ga nai, but that's the main difference between the two. Hazu ga nai definitely needs to be used with some kind of logic or common sense, and wake ga nai, not necessarily. So let's jump into the example sentences. We have 私は泳ぐのが苦手だから50メートルを泳ぐなんてできるわけがない。So I'm bad at swimming, so there's no way I can swim 50 meters. So you could think that this is sort of logical, and there can be reasons that go along with wake ga nai, of course. There's going to be a reason someone feels that they can't do something or that something isn't possible. But just because the person's bad at swimming doesn't necessarily mean that they can't swim 50 meters, right? So this is just how they feel. They feel like they can't swim 50 meters. They feel there's no way they can swim 50 meters. So that's why they're using wake ga nai. Breaking it down, we have watashi wa, so me, that's the topic, and emphasizing what comes next. Oyogu no ga, so the thing which is swimming. Nigate dakara, I'm bad at it. So 50 meter wo, so 50 meters, that's the direct object of oyogu. So swimming 50 meters, nante. So this is the nante that is thinking negatively about the 50 meters. Or it could be being used as nado as well here, I guess. Something like 50 meters. できるわけがない. 泳ぐなんてできるわけがない. So there's no way I could do something like swimming 50 meters. So, because I'm bad at swimming. All right, next one is 必死で練習しなければ3時間でマラソンを走れるわけがない. So if you don't practice like crazy, you cannot possibly run a marathon in 3 hours. So 必死で. So 必死で is like doing something so hard that you could almost die, right? So like crazy. で練習しなければ. So if you don't practice like crazy or like you're gonna die, 3時間で. So by 3 hours or in 3 hours, marathon is a marathon. を direct object, 走れる able to run わけがない. You cannot possibly run a marathon in 3 hours. There's some common sense here, but it's basically more about how I feel about it. This is like an opinion. That's another way you could think about wake ga nai. Is it could be not necessarily just logic and common sense, but it could also be opinion. Opinions are going to have just, not based opinions, but opinions that are generally based on feeling or just random opinions. You'll be using wake ga nai a little bit more, I think. Okay, so question time preview. Once again, this is just so that you can get an idea of what's coming next. You don't have to put out your question time just yet. Gives you some time to think about it. あなたが 私が〇〇することをできるわけがないと思っていることは何ですか? So what's something you think you're not able to do? For example, 私が10秒で100メートルを走れるわけがない。So there's no way that I could ever run 100 meters in 10 seconds. That's really, really fast. I probably could not do that either. So how about you? Something that you definitely can't do. So think about that while we work through the last few example sentences. So the next one is, B さんはブランド物が好きだから財布やカバンが安いもののわけがない。So here's a noun. 安いのわけがない. The noun's going to have the no particle between it and わけがない. So B likes brand things. ブランド物. A quick opinion in chat. This ブランド物, I think of it as like like brand things that are made by famous brands, like, you know, Paul Smith or Gucci or something like that. Those kind of things are brand mono. Is there a good word for that in English? I was thinking brandware, but when I searched brandware, it didn't come up in a dictionary. It just came up with like a company name called brandware. So I don't know if I've been in Japan too long that brand mono I just assumed was brandware and that's not actually an English word. Is there a word that's good for this that you guys know of? Brand mono? Let me know. が好きだから, so B さん likes brand things. I just put it there because I wasn't sure what to put. 財布やカバン, so things like their wallet and bag が安いもの, so a cheap thing のわけがない. There's no way that the things like their wallet and bag are cheap. So どんなに仕事ができる人でもこの仕事が簡単なわけがない. So 簡単 is an adjective, so it needs な between it and わけがない. So even for a person who is amazing at work, there is no way that this work is easy. So どんなに, so no matter how much, 仕事ができる, so can work, 仕事ができる means that someone is good at doing work or good at doing something. できる人でも, so even if the person is good at, you know, doesn't matter how good they are at doing work, この仕事, so this work が, that's the subject, 簡単なわけがない. There's no way that it's easy. 居眠りしそうになりながら宿題をしたから答えが正確なわけがない. So 正確 is another adjective. I did this homework while I was starting to be about to doze off. So there's no way that the answers are correct. Once again, a little bit of weird English. Starting to be about to doze off is not something we would probably say in English, but it is how you would say it in Japanese. 居眠り means, it's an N3 word actually, but I've never seen it in either Genki or Quartet, so I marked it here. 居眠り means to doze off, or to start to doze off. しそう, so looked like I was about to doze off. になりながら, so while I was becoming, seemed like I would doze off. Right? Weird English there. 宿題, so homework を, that's the direct object of したから, I did it, so 答えが, so 答え is the answer, 答えが正確means correct なわけがない. There's no way the answers are correct. Next one is 妻の料理は何でも美味しいから今夜のご飯も美味しくないわけがない. So everything my wife cooks is delicious, so there is no way that tonight's dinner won't be delicious. So you can use the double negative pattern with わけがない as well, just like we did with はずがない. And of course, you would probably translate this more prettily as it'll definitely be delicious. Tonight's dinner will definitely be delicious. There's no way that it won't be delicious. So yeah, the double negative is it won't be, there's no way that it won't be delicious. But you could translate that as it will definitely be delicious. The double negative cancels out and makes it a very serious positive. Okay, so breaking it down. 妻の料理, so my wife's cooking. Well, that's the topic. 何でも美味しいから everything, 何でも, right? Everything 美味しいから is delicious. So 今夜のご飯, so tonight's food or tonight's rice, but probably tonight's food in general. も also. 美味しくない not delicious. わけがない there's no way it's not delicious. C 君は賢いからこの失敗が想像できないわけがない. So C is smart, so there's no way that he couldn't imagine this failure. So C 君 is a person. は the topic. 賢いから 賢い means to be smart or clever. It's not just smart. 頭がいい would be they've got a good head on their shoulders. They're smart. 賢い is a little bit more like clever. They can they're not just book smart, right? They're good at high IQ clever, right? から この失敗, so this failure が that's the subject 想像できない not able to imagine it 想像できないわけがない there's no way that they can't or weren't able to imagine this failure because they're clever or smart クラスで人気のイケメンに彼女がいないわけがない so there's no way that good-looking popular guys in this class or the class don't have a girlfriend so クラスでSo at this class, 人気のイケメン. So イケメン means like it can mean a couple things. The main thing that you've probably heard is an attractive guy or a good-looking, handsome guy. It can also be used for people who have good personality. Like if someone says something really cool, it doesn't matter if they're good-looking. You might still hear someone say they're イケメン. Or if someone makes a lot of money or something, you might hear someone call them イケメン. Doesn't necessarily mean they're good-looking. It just means maybe they're somewhat desirable. I don't know. I can't think of a perfect literal translation to it, but something like that. クラスで人気のイケメン, so popular イケメンに, so in that direction, 彼女がいない, so don't have a girlfriend, わけがない. There's no way that they don't. All right, that brings us to the continuation of the story. Just warn you that at the end of this giant block of text, the story will not be finished. It'll be continuing on in our next two sections next week. But let's go ahead and get Yuki over here and have her read it once at a fairly normal pace, and then we'll break it down together.
はい、
お願いします。
お願いします。いつもならそんな場所に近づくわけがない。けれど、なぜかその時はすごく不思議な感じがして、体が引っ張られたように、賽銭箱の前まで一直線に歩いていった。長い文章だねこれ
すいません
後輩はいつの間にか準備していた5円玉を賽銭箱に放り込んでチャリンと音を立てていた。俺も賽銭をした方がいいというプレッシャーが湧いてきた。一生懸命ポケットを探したけど飲み会で持っていた現金と小銭は全部使い切っていた。財布にはゲーセンのチケットしか入っていなかった。賽銭の代わりにそれを放り込んだ。パタパタという音が聞こえたような気がした。
Alright, let's go ahead and break this one down. We have
いつもならそんな場所に近づくわけがない。けれど、なぜかその時はすごく不思議な感じがして、体が引っ張られたように賽銭箱の前まで一直線に歩いていった。
So usually there's no way I would go near a place like that. But for some reason, that time had a very strange feeling. And as if my body were pulled, I walked in a straight line to right in front of the offering box. That is a long sentence. Oh, it's two sentences there. But anyway, いつもなら, if it were always, normal times, そんな, that kind of 場所に, so that kind of place, に, in that direction, 近づく, so go near to, わけがない. So there's no way I would go near to a place like that in normal times. But, けれど, but, なぜか, for some reason, その時, at that time, は, and that's the topic, すごく, so a lot, 不思議な感じして, so I felt a strange feeling, 不思議な感じして、感じがして、体が, so my body, and that's the subject, 引っ張られたように, so like I was being pulled, 引っ張られたように、賽銭箱, so 賽銭箱 is an offering box at a shrine, but there's also 賽銭箱 at temples and in churches in the West as well. So 賽銭箱の前まで, so up until the offering box, 一直線, so 一直線 is a straight line, に歩いていた. I walked.
後輩はいつの間にか準備していた5円玉を賽銭箱に放り込んでチャリンと音を立てていた。俺も賽銭をした方がいいというプレッシャーが湧いてきた。一生懸命ポケットを探したけど、飲み会で持っていた現金と小銭は全部使い切っていた。
As for my junior, he threw the 5 yen coin he had prepared unnoticed by me into the offering box, which made a tinkling sound. A feeling of pressure that I should donate to welled up inside me. I searched desperately in my pockets, but I had used up all the cash and coins that I had at the drinking party. So let's break it down. We have 後輩は, so the person who is below me in the company, my junior. So as for my junior, いつの間にか. いつの間にか is like unnoticed or out of nowhere or out of the blue. In this case, I said unnoticed by me. いつの間にか準備していた5円玉. So the 5 yen piece that he had prepared. 準備していた5円玉. を, that's the direct object of 賽銭箱に, so into the offering box, 放り込んだ. So toss it in. 放り込んで、チャリンと, so that's a sound. チャリンと音を立てていった. So the sound of チャリン, arose. Something we would never say in English, but these are kind of words that are super, super common in written Japanese, especially. So a tinkling sound. It made a tinkling sound. チャリンと音を立てていった. 俺も, so me also, 再選だよね。再選もした方がいいというプレッシャー. So I should also make an offering というプレッシャー. I felt that pressure が湧いてきた. So it boiled up, or it welled up, the pressure I felt that I should also give an offering. 一生懸命, so as hard as I could, 一生懸命ポケットを探した. I searched my pockets. けど, but 飲み会で at the drinking party 持っていった現金と小銭. So the coins and cash that I had been carrying at the drinking party は, that's the topic, 全部, all of them, 使い切っていた. 使い切る means to use all of. 使い切っていた. I had used it all at the drinking party. はい。
財布にはゲーセンのチケットしか入っていなかった。賽銭の代わりにそれを放り込んだ。パタパタという音が聞こえたような気がした。
In my wallet, there was nothing but a game center ticket. Instead of an offering, I tossed that in. I felt like I could hear the sound of it fluttering. So breaking it down, we have 財布に, so in my wallet. 財布には, in my wallet, that's now the topic. ゲーセンのチケット. ゲームセンター is probably the full word, right? ゲームセンター. But shortened, it's, most people just say ゲーセン. ゲーセンのチケット. So a ticket from the game center. しか入っていなかった. So there is nothing but the ticket from the game center. しかfollowed by a negative means there's nothing but that. しか入っていなかった. There was nothing but a ticket from the game center in my wallet. 賽銭の代わりに, so instead of an offering or in place of an offering, それを, that を放り込んだ. I toss it in. パタパタ, fluttering という音. So the sound which was fluttering という音が subject 聞こえた. So I was able to hear or it was audible. ような気がした. I felt like it was audible, the sound パタパタ, the sound of fluttering. And that's the end of it for this section. We'll continue that story in the last two sections next week as we cover eru, NI, and something else. I can't remember exactly. So, question time.
はい。あなたが私が〇〇することをできるわけがないと思っていることは何ですか?
So, what is something that you think that is impossible for you to do? There's no way you could do it. For example.
私が10秒で100メートルを走れるわけがない。
So there's no way that I could run 100 meters in 10 seconds.
どんなに美味しくても私が一度にハンバーガーを10個食べれるわけがない。
It's a little bit more complicated, this sentence. It's no matter how delicious they were, there's no way that I could eat 10 burgers in one sitting. 私が一度に, so at one time, ハンバーガーを, so hamburgers を10個, 10, 食べれる, able to eat, わけがない. There's no way that I could eat 10 burgers at one time, no matter how delicious they were. So how about you guys? What's something that you feel like you would not be capable of? All right, let's see what we had in the chat. Are there any other sites like NHK Web Easy? I just started reading an article daily, but this site doesn't update fast enough. Word. I highly recommend checking out, well, I don't know. It depends on if you have iOS, but there's I don't have my iPad on me. What's it called again? I think it's Manabi Reader. Manabi Reader. Yeah, I think, there's a website too. But they don't have, it's only on the App Store. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad, I recommend this website. It's got, you can touch all the words in all of the articles. It's got connections to NHK Web Easy and just websites all over the internet, including other websites that are easy to read. I can't remember the names of those websites off the top of my head. It's on the iPad downstairs. But that application has connections to all kinds of websites all over the internet, so you can read their articles and their blogs and stuff. Like even like for ni-chan, which is like a 4chan, but in Japanese.
5chan じゃないあれ
4chan is the English version.
そうか、
so it's like that, but in Japanese. It's got connections to that stuff, and it allows you to read it all. And it updates very fast, and you can click on all the words to see what their meaning are.
そう、でも2ちゃんはもう5chan になったから。
Yeah, but it's still on the app. It says 2chan matome. It's still called that, so that's what comes up on the app. Anyway, there's some other easy ones on there. If you remind me next time, I'll try to, or in the Discord, I'll look that up on my iPad later, if I remember. Or if you remind me. I learned what wake ga nai meant from ore no imoto ga konna ni kawaii wake ga nai. A bit embarrassing, but at least I learned something in Japanese from a title word. I wouldn't probably use brand clothes. Can't really think of anything different, right? Yeah, I couldn't either. There was a video somewhere of a weeb getting interviewed, and he said his favorite anime was Oreimo on TV in Japanese, so nothing embarrassing about it.
私と同じこと言ってる。私も同じこと答えてた。そうだ。
Which often use はずがない or わけがない。
まだ答えている。
I can answer. They're both quite common. They're just in different situations. じゃない？
そう。なんか私がパーソナリー多く使うのは、わけがないだと思う。
Me too.
そう、みんなね、多分わけがないっていう方がその自分のサイトでさ考えてる範囲のことだから、なんかソースがなくてもね何でも言える、私はこう思う時に、わけがないよ。
You don't need to have a logical reason or anything to prove your point. So わけがない is probably I use わけがない way more. Whether I hear it more, I'm not sure. But yeah, はずがない if I'm going to use that, it's when I'm really, really adamant about it and I feel like I have a good reason to believe that thing, like a logical reason. And I'll use it, but definitely わけがない more. And apparently Yuki as well.
そう。で、日本人はね、そこまでその細かく考えてないかもね、もしかして使うときには。なんか、
Well, they just use it naturally.
そう。わけがないの方が普通に多分話してるときには多く使うから、はずがないとわけがないの違いをネイティブが考えてると思わないけど、でもなんとなくその理由が強くあるとき、自分がリサーチしたことがいっぱいあって、いやこういう理由が必ずあるからね、私の気持ちだけじゃなくてこのニュースもこうやって言ってるとか、こういうなんかリサーチも言ってるっていうのは時にはこういうはずがないですで、
I have a feeling Ichiyama-san は日本人ですか? I feel like Ichiyama-san is Japanese, but I'm not sure. Anyway, what was I going to say? What was my point there? Yeah, so anyway, in case you didn't understand what she said, the gist of it was that unless you've researched something so you have a really good reason to believe it like that, or you're super confident because you read somewhere about it or you heard it on the news a bunch, and you can say with confidence that there's no way this is the case because something, then maybe you'll use はずがない. But generally speaking, わけがない, it's your own sort of, it's things only within your own sight. So it's more of, I just feel this way, this is my opinion. Then you're going to use わけがない more often. And that's probably why it's a little bit more common in daily conversation, because you don't need anything to back it up. But people aren't probably thinking about that when they're using it, in, like Japanese people. It's just how it comes out naturally.
はい、いいですね。次は
Tries, I saw a video the other day. Here we go. Jonas-san, welcome to the stream. He's got a question time.
はい、ありがとうございます。僕はこの文法が覚えられるわけがない。
覚えましたけどね。はい、so
もうマスターしている。
Jonas says there's no way that he could memorize this grammar. But you did it. Dashiel says
日本語のピッチアクセントをマスターできるわけがない。またもし中国語を習ったとしても音調を使いこなすことはできないと思います。
そうだよね、難しいんだよね。絶対なんかできるようになると思うんだけど、完璧にマスターできるわけがないかな。そうだね。So anyway, yeah, the one thing you want to change here, Dashiel, is to make sure you put できるわけがない. There's no way I can master it. できるわけがない。Ichiyama says, アンディが持ってないわけがないはずわかんない。どうかな Andy, you are in イケメン in all possible definitions.
正
いません。
いいな。
ありがとうございます。
そうだよね。
ユキもイケメンですよ。
アンディばっかりね。
ありがとうございます、のやび。Violin guy says,
はい、僕の猫さんは家で花瓶などを壊してもちょっと待ってね。僕はだね。その叱るのは僕だから、僕の猫さんがこのままだと叱っちゃうから、
そうだね。
僕は猫さんが家で花瓶などを壊しても叱るわけがない。
So you want to make yourself the topic here. 僕は猫さんが家で花瓶などを壊しても叱るわけがない。So you need to make sure in this situation, it sounds like your cat is this topic and probably the subject as well. So that would mean that they'd be the ones shouting. 叱るわけがない. So you want to make sure you put your name in there somewhere so that the person listening knows you're talking about. You would not shout. 叱るわけがない. Otherwise, it's fine. It's a movie trailer. Oh, it's a movie trailer. I don't know. Brand mono equals brand name goods. Oh yeah, that might be it. Brand name goods. That could work pretty good, Greg. Nice. Yeah, brand name goods. That's what I'll go with. I like that. はい、Yati tries.
はい。僕は10分まで息を止められるわけがない。
Yeah, good.
でもそれはね、
人間だから、はい。
まあそうだね。できる人がいるかもしれないもんね。人間だから。それははずがないかなって思ったけど、人間だからって書いてあるから。でも、わけがないでいいと思います。
はい。you just want to change it to kanoke, which is able to do or not able to do, which if you're on Genki lesson 11, it's normal that you wouldn't know that yet. That's from lesson 13, I believe, of Genki. So that is to be able to do something, you move up to the A column. So, 止める. But 止める is an ichidan verb, so we just add られる to the end of it. 語る and add られる. So that would be 止められるわけがない. To make it kanoke, which means can do something. So can stop my breath. There's no way. If it was a non-ichidan verb, a godan verb, it would be like 話す. You would move up to the A column. So 話せ and add る. 話せるわけがない. There's no way I could talk. Alright. 神様ってゲーセンのチケットが使えるんでしょうかそう。使えるんでしょうかね。そういうわけだ。
それはちょっと続きを見てみないと、ね。
トダイヘル is good too, yeah.
そう。ルンピの9タイムやってないよ。
そうなんだ。はい。
はい。おばあちゃんは80歳です。だから英語を習うわけがない。彼女がね。だから彼女が英語を習うわけがないと思います。
You want to put her before there. So だから彼女が英語を習うわけがないと思います。Okay. So she can't learn English anymore, I think. If you want to say she can't learn English anymore,
なるほどね。
then you want to say 習えるわけがないと思います。So yeah, you want to change 彼女が to the before English. So だから彼女が英語を習えるわけがない。So you want to change that once again, just like I was pointing out to the kanoke, the can or cannot do form. So 習お is a godan verb, so you move up to the A column. 習お becomes 習え and you add do. 習えるわけがない。
はい。
はい。
そうだね。
おはようさんどす。おはよう、David. How's it going?
おはようございます。
Michael has a key time.
はい。世界最強の数学者でさえ未だに解けないミレニアム検証問は当然僕がやってみてもできるわけがありません。
Excellent sentence.
すごい。
Millennium, I don't know what
何ですかそれは。
what problem that is. I don't know what that math problem is, but I imagine it's one of those unsolvable questions, right? There's a couple of those out there.
すげえ。
これだ。Millennium Prize problems. Oh, there's a bunch of them. Okay. So if you solve the problems, you get money or something?
本当にもらえんの？
いや、知らんよ。何も調べてないからプライズがあるか、それは名前だけかわかんないよ。
そうなんだ。
はい、ルンピさん。
はい。この人生で私が5言語をペラペラ話せるわけがない。
You never
で
know.
きるかもしれない
But
よ。
that's why that the わけがない usage is correct because it may be possible, but you feel like you can't. So perfect. この人生で私が5言語をペラペラ話せるように、話せるわけがない。Okay, perfect. There's no way that I will be able to speak 5 languages fluently in this lifetime. But you never know, Lumpy. ギタイさん、お久しぶりです。
お久しぶりです。
Dabbing it up. Good to see you, man. Noya V's question time.
はい、僕が少なくとも8時間寝ないで、脳をね、8時間寝ないできちんと働くことができるわけがない。
ああ。
できるよ。できる。で
きません。
できない？
俺も難しい。まあ7時間ぐらい寝ればいい、ね。
8時間寝ないでか。
そう、寝ないで。
あ、そっか。8時間寝ないとね。私9時間寝ないと無理なのに、人に厳しいこと言っちゃった。ごめん。
そう、僕が少なくとも8時間を
寝
なかったら。
じゃない？あ、
8時間寝なかったら。
でも寝ないででもいいよ。
あ、そうだね。僕が少なくとも、でもその少なくとも8時間を寝ないで、きちんと働くことができるわけがない。
本当は多分、僕が8時間寝ない、8時間も寝ないでかな。8時間も寝ないでかな。本当は。もがつく場所は8時間もだと思う。
If you want to use the 少なくとも though, you could say 僕が少なくとも8時間を8時間寝なかったら、
まあそうだね。
でもいけるんじゃないですか。
そうだね。タラの方が簡単かな。
タラ would be easier than that. So 僕が少なくとも8時間寝なかったら、you don't need that word. 寝なかったら、きちんと働くことができるわけがない。So that would be fine then, right? Just change that ないでとなかったら and get rid of the O.Would be the easiest thing. And what was the other way you said? Moving the mo all around?
そう、それはね、超カットしてるから。
僕が8時間も寝ないで。that would be fine as well, yeah. 僕が、but you couldn't say 少なくとも then. So 僕が8時間も寝ないで。I would go with 寝なかったら。definitely. I would definitely go with 寝なかったら。
でもそのままでもいいよ。8時間寝ないで。でも OK だよ。
今のまま少なくとも
8時間寝ないで。少なくともはカットしたくなるね。
You have to get rid of that. So I would go with 寝なかったら or カット少なくとも or change it to 8時間も寝ないで。And then you'll be fine. Either one of those 3 options will get you there. 8時間寝ないできちんと働くこと。
そうだね。それが多分一番近いかな。そのノヤビーの。
I need to sleep at least 7 hours to be able to do good work. Anything less than 7 hours and I'm useless. All right, guys, those are good question times. That brings us to thumbs up. 攻撃してください. Please smash the thumbs up button. If you didn't like this stream, you can smash the thumbs down button too. But make sure you do it twice, otherwise it doesn't count. チャンネル登録お願いします. Please subscribe to the channel. If you've made it to this point in the video and you haven't subscribed yet, I would be very surprised and very disappointed and sad. And feel kind of
私は今からでも大歓迎です。
はい。And please make sure you hit the bell so that you know when we go live next time. That's what everyone says, right? はい、お願いします。Yes, please go ahead and check out the podcast channel as well. ToKini Andy. If you're at this level of Quartet, you can probably understand most of that. We just released a bunch of gameplay as we talked about our recent experiences playing Elder Scrolls Online.
で、明日出る。
Then tomorrow's one is about Valentine's Day. Yes, that's coming out tomorrow on the podcast channel. And on the website, we are releasing a whole new sort of course. I mean, it's going to be included in the current membership, so everyone that's a member will still get this as well. But it'll be study by grammar point. So we basically broke up all of our content that already exists into individual grammar points. And we put all of it together so that you can go over the grammar explanation for a single grammar point, then jump immediately into a bunch of different practice exercises. And we've added new challenges to that section and new extras, and I'm going to be including a new sort of immersion section to the website where we link out to other websites that have content that you can read at that level just a few at this point. We're going to be increasing stuff. And we're also going to be writing our own stories and recording stuff over time for that immersion section. But right now, there's going to be a few stories that already exist added and a bunch of graded reading material that we're going to be linking out to based on the lesson of Genki and Quartet. So you can go to your lesson in Quartet and see, oh, I can read this one. You can jump out to that and read it and get a little bit more of exposure to what you're learning, which is very important as you go through the content. So lots of stuff coming out. We're going to be releasing all of the grammar points up until lesson 6 of Genki on Tuesday, on the 22nd, and then slowly releasing all the rest of Genki 1 and 2 as time goes by. Gitai. Final Fantasy 14. Oh, when? Final Fantasy ね。Stream. I've only played it for like 20 minutes ever. Final Fantasy. I played it in Japanese for a little while, but
それ日本語なの？
あるよ。最初は日本語だったじゃん。だってスクエアリネックスなんだ。だから日本語でもね、英語でも Final Fantasy 14できるんだよ。
あ、そうなんだ。
そう。It's fun, but so 2, 22, 22. So much to drop. It's gonna be fun. はい、よかったです。ルンピーありがとうございます。Are the grammar points sorted by difficulty level? The grammar points will be sorted by, at first at least, by Genki lesson, and then Quartet lesson, of course. So we're first dividing them up by that, and then eventually when we get them all taken care of, we'll probably split it out into different tracks as well, so like Tobida or just N level or something. That's down the line a little bit, but for now they're just ordered in Genki 1 order. And by the end of next week or the beginning of the following week, I'm going to start slowly, very slowly, releasing revisions of our old Genki content. So I'm going to be releasing new videos, standalone videos, that sort of correct mistakes that I've made in old streams and just more polished explanations, way more polished and well-researched explanations than what we had in the past. So, and hopefully some new exercise videos as well. So lots and lots of stuff coming over the next couple months, which is why we're so stressed all the time. I'm so stressed all the time. And as you notice, we're done with the stream a little bit earlier than normal today. It's still 10:45, but we've only covered 3 sections. And this is why we only covered 3 sections. Because if we were to cover all 5 sections, it would be 10:45 and we'd still have 2 sections to go. And I would be slowly dying. And by the 5th section tonight, I would be mumbling and not being able to explain myself properly. So I just figured it's not fair to anyone, including myself, to teach for 3 hours and just not make mistakes and stuff on the final 2 sections or something. So we've decided to split up the lessons a lot more than we were doing in the beginning. Should have done this from the beginning of Quartet 1, but you live and you learn. So from now on, we're going to be splitting up Quartet lessons into at least 3 separate live streams with a single practice video, a practice stream at the end, possibly 4 live streams, but we're going to try and figure out what works best. But possibly 4, based on how long this live stream took. I thought 3 sections would be a lot faster, but we'll see. Lots to talk about. Anyway, Come to Japan Dan says, yes, much better pace. Yeah, it's a little bit more relaxed. We don't have to rush because there's only 3 seconds. We can take our time with the questions and it's more comfortable. So definitely 3 sections is the sweet spot. Next week is going to be just 2 sections, but that's because there's all that's left. 死なないでね。ありがとうございます。Linga, I prefer it this way anyways because I can actually get decent sleep. Yes, us too, Dashiel. Us too. Perfect. Thanks for hanging out.
ありがとうございます。
はい。
史上最高のノベルゲームですからおすす
そうだね。
めします。
I've heard the story is absolutely amazing, and I would like to go through it eventually in Japanese. I played my character up to like level 10, I think, in just Japanese. So I actually put like 3-4 hours into it. And I would like to get into it more, but right now, Yuki just got her computer. And I accidentally got her addicted, not so accidentally, to ESO. So it is what it is. Sweet. I'm glad to hear it, Felipe. I agree. 3 is way more manageable than last time 6. That was too much.
さっきのさ、ニュースのやつ、
はい。
フェリペが東大なんちゃら。
見た。はいはい。That's just a website.
あ、そうなんだ。
That's useful. You're welcome, Violin Thank you.
ありがとうございます。
All right, good. So that's that.
そっか。
So we are going to sign off for tonight, guys. Next week is going to be the final 2 sections of Lesson 9. Let's go ahead and see what those are. Let's skip right back to the beginning. If I come over here and go to slide 2. Eru enai, so things like arieru, arienai, and moshinai. So those are going to be the 2 sections next week. Somewhat complicated, but just 2 sections, so we can go through it nice and slow. It's really good for reading. I saw the Dragon Quest streams ages ago and thought it might be good for it. Language used is really varied. Yeah, those Dragon Quest streams really humbled me, let me tell you. Reminded me that I needed to work on my reading a lot, especially fantasy-related stuff. Final Fantasy I found a little bit easier than Dragon Quest to read, but yeah, it could be similar content to that. Something that would make sense for the ToKini Gaming channel, perhaps.
Yay!
So we'll see. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out tonight. It's good to see all of you, and yeah, good to see you again, Gitai. It's been a while. It's nice to see you. And I hope everyone has a good week. Lots coming. So we'll see you around. Hopefully still alive next week. And thanks to Come to Japan Dan and Yuki and everyone for all the help. Otherwise, I would be probably not alive right now. So very helpful. Well, I wouldn't be able to put out nearly as much as we're putting out. All right, guys, have a great night. We will see you next time. お疲れ様でした。またよろしくお願いします。
来週も頑張ろうね。
はい、また次のビデオで会いましょうね。はい、バイ。
Planning to use these books to learn Japanese in 2022?
We explain all the grammar from these books and more here on YouTube in detail. And on ToKiniAndy.com, we have tons of extra grammar explanations, interactive practice exercises with Yuki and I, native shadowing exercises so you can get practice speaking even when you're by yourself, tests, and even progress bars to track your progress through the book. We also plan on beginning to add tons of level-appropriate immersion material throughout 2022. We even have a new exclusive community for members where they can ask questions, help each other, and even play silly Japanese word games. Over 1,800 people have already utilized the ToKini Andy and Yuki premium content. Join the community today and kickstart your Japanese learning journey.